Bourbon Sauce, where we discuss topics and get sauce on bourbon in the process. Grab your favorite bourbon and join us for the show. This episode is called Bourbon Goggles. So, Ryan, you and I both are single.
Yep.
We both have been victim to swiping while drunk. And then you think these girls are going to be hot, or at least they perceive themselves to be good-looking, presentable young ladies, and then you meet up with them, and what happens?
They're not what they presented themselves to be, at all.
Oh, you know what I forgot to do?
Yeah, I know exactly what you forgot to do.
I
I'm
forgot
gonna
to
take
let
a sip of it right now.
I forgot to let everyone know what we're actually sipping on, and we decided to uncork a new bottle today together.
We're drinking together.
And it's amazing. It's the confiscated Kentucky Owl, which I think is one of the best bourbons we've opened in a while.
And I can say from personal experience, we have not opened a lot of bottles. I'm just saying. I mean, it's not like we do this often. But
I would say that's a lie, and almost as much of a lie as some of these girls in their profiles. But
darn it, you caught me.
yeah,
You caught me catfishing the bourbon.
yeah, you're not gonna slip one past me unless you put a Mickey in my drink or something.
I gotta say, this is some very, very delightful bourbon.
It's one of the better ones that we've had. I'm telling you, I would recommend anybody that's out there looking for a smooth bourbon that hasn't had a chance to get the Kentucky Owl, you should do it because it's actually worth it. I think this bottle is like $120 or something, but it's really worth it.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is definitely a very smooth bottle that you can sit around and drink, and before you know it, you've got the whole bottle gone.
Yeah, for sure. So back on to our topic of choice, where if people haven't picked it up yet, the catfishing thing is a big deal out there today in the dating world, and we both have pretty good experiences of this. You tend to be a little more harsh than I am when it comes to this.
Me?
Yeah, because you told me about one.
No, I'm just gonna say this. Nobody would ever imagine out of the two of us, I would be the more what's the word? Crass?
Yeah.
The more just blunt about it than you.
Right. And it's funny because you're the same way when it comes to food.
Yes. Yes. 100%.
So people, when they look at us, they would think that I would be the one that would be more confrontational, I guess, if you would, in those instances, whereas I'm not. I'm more like, you know what, I'm already here. I might as well give this girl a chance to talk at least, and we'll see what she's about and see how many other lies she's willing to tell me, and just let her kind of really put the noose around her head and hang herself out to dry, because it happens every single time I go, and I find out that they are not at all what they put themselves out there.
What is that, erotic asphyxiation?
It's called something along those lines. But either way, it's ridiculous because you go there and you're thinking, you see this picture and then they show up and you're like, ooh, woof. You are nowhere close to what you just presented in all these pictures. And then you confront them about it and they're like, yeah, I might have put on a little bit of weight, or those are older pictures. And
A little bit my ass.
some of them you're like, bro, that's a whole different person. That's like a generation ago person. I don't know who you're trying to fool. And it's interesting because these girls, it's like you can't believe that you're going to be able to show up and the guy's not going to know. It's blatantly obvious that you do not resemble the pictures that you're presenting. And it's, as one guy that I work with, he says it's disingenuine. You're not calling them a liar, because a liar is so harsh for people to accept today. But when you say they're being disingenuine, for whatever reason, that's like a soft uppercut to the chin for these people. And they're willing to accept that a little bit better than maybe, I don't know, getting up and walking out before.
I'm just saying, some of these women, and don't get me wrong, men do it too. Men do it too, big time. And men tend to play games upon games. Women, tend to like to just hold the camera at the right angle and do all this stuff, right? But I've also gone out and met some of these people, and by God, when Little Bo Peep lost her sheep, I know where it went. You ate it. I'm just saying. Like, don't get me wrong. I have no issue with a plus size woman. What I super have an issue with.
At least put it out there to begin with.
Agreed. That's what I have an issue with. Is doesn't matter at that point. That's it.
Right.
End of story. Once I see you, that's game over. I do an about face, and here's prime story.
Oh, this is good.
All right.
I love this one.
So I match. I drive all the way to Hopkinsville. Go to Starbucks. Ugh. Go to Starbucks. Go inside. Go up to get my coffee because I don't see her. Well, and I text. I message. I'm here. She's like, I am too. And I'm like, looking around. I'm like, I don't see you. And I get my coffee and I go sit at another table. And I'm like, where are you? And she's like, I'm the girl that's been waving at you. And I'm like, this is not the one. All right.
This is not the droid you're looking for.
Yeah, this is not the droid you're looking for. I immediately stand up, take my coffee, which I almost walked off and left and had to do a quick U-turn, grab my coffee because, I just paid like $5 for a stupid coffee. I'm not going to waste it.
Yeah.
I can't afford to just toss it like you.
Well, yeah, I probably would have still got my coffee also. I wouldn't have thrown it away because I'm not going to waste good coffee, for one. But
Starbucks is not that good.
It's better than fucking Keurig coffee.
Had she been close to the table, I would have left it and ran. Okay? All right? Jabba the Hutt was not going to eat me. All right? So, I'm
Jabba the Hutt was not worth the nut.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like, I know people are going to be like, oh my God, he's being so mean right now. But the fact is...
You're so superficial, Ryan.
So I go... You'll have to edit that.
Yeah, I'll have to edit that
So
for sure.
I go outside, get to the truck. She is, like, charging me like a wildebeest.
Like a fucking possessed rhino?
Nah, like a wildebeest.
I mean,
if it was a rhino, I would stop and try and pet it because, I like rhinos. But a
Yeah, you and me
wildebeest,
both. We have that in common, for
it's
sure.
a little more of a, no thank you, I'm getting out of the way. All right, so she comes charging up to the vehicle and, like, tries to block me from getting in my door. And I'm like, she's like, oh my God, you're just blah, 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 going on and on, cursing me and talking about how I'm fat shaming and I'm a narcissist. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, look here, lady. I was like, first off, I showed up with the intention to meet, have coffee, talk to you, get to know you, not meet at a bar and
Right.
try and get drunk and hook up with you.
Right.
I'm meeting you in the middle of the day to have coffee, to have conversation.
Right.
And you show up and you are every bit of 140, 150 pounds bigger than you have portrayed in your pictures.
So she's like 240.
Yes.
Wait.
And she's aged herself probably another 7 or 8 years and lied about being a smoker.
Yeah, no.
So all of that was showing in person, but none of that was showing in those pictures from 8 years ago when she was easily 130, 140 pounds.
Right.
Right? So I'm like, the point is like, there is no going anywhere with this.
Mm-hmm.
You established this entire coffee date on a bed of lies. And I got a little philosophical, fill her up. All right, fill her up there. I got a little philosophical, I said.
Yeah.
You have built this whole thing on a pillar of lies.
You lay on a throne of lies.
And I shall not partake in building any more pillars on this lie.
No, I don't blame you for that.
And I said, and if you don't mind, get the fuck out of my way so I can get in my truck and leave.
See, that's where we're different, which is kind of funny because I will let them down easier. Like, I was on one recently, and I was just like, oh, come on, man. Like, at least while we were sitting there at the table having a conversation, she did mention that she was upset that she had allowed herself at one point to gain all that and then had a drastic weight loss, whether it was through surgery or otherwise. She still just didn't represent what she was portraying.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, like you said, we're starting off with lies and deceit. And I'm not about that. Like, that's all a huge red flag already for me because trust is like a big deal. right? And if you're not going to honor my time with honesty and truthfulness, then you don't deserve my time at all. And I'll wait until the date's over, and then I will not talk to him again. Sometimes I might ghost him. Other times I'll just say, hey, we're just not really gonna be a good match. But
I got one for you that I was witness to on your behalf. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah, you had a little tickle and pickle, and she ended up not being the size she originally portrayed.
oh, yeah,
And
I know
then
which one you're talking about.
and then you ghost her, and she messages back, and you feel guilty, and you take her to lunch like 3 or 4 days later.
I don't think I took her to lunch. I think she met me out to dinner.
Oh, so you went to dinner.
Yeah.
Okay, lunch would have been a little easier, but dinner?
I was already out to dinner by myself, and I was just like, well, you can come up here if you want.
And then you went back to her place.
Yeah.
So, sometimes I question, right? And then other times I'm just like, it's Dan being Dan, but then it's like, wait a minute. How am I the one that is just like, nah, nope, this ain't gonna work, nope,
Sometimes I want to go back for a second look, just to see, like, maybe I overlooked something the first time, or maybe I was drunk the first time, or you know what I mean? Like, there's usually a predicament behind it as to why I'm revisiting something.
So it's probably like, maybe I didn't need that brown paper bag.
Well, or maybe I was being too superficial. You know what I mean? Like, so sometimes I'm just like, was I being too harsh? Because I know in the past, and you know this about me, is that sometimes I pick the Kim Kardashian looking types, but they are the same level crazy.
Well, you have that.
As
What
the
is it? What do they
Kardashians. The
call
hot
it? The
crazy
hot
matrix.
crazy matrix.
Yeah.
You're at the tippy top of the crazy end of the matrix every time.
Yeah.
I can just tell by the ones you swipe on. I'm like,
everybody knows.
Nuts.
Everybody knows I'm batshit crazy. So
it's different.
I just naturally attract crazy, just because like birds of a feather flock together.
So why do we hang out?
Because you're crazy too.
Don't lie.
You are also crazy. You've stayed in the military almost 20 years. You have to be crazy in today's. We're totally off track here. Doesn't matter. The point of the whole thing is catfishing happens more often today, and I think it's because there's no checks and balances anymore when it comes to the dating. It was a little harder back in the beginning. I remember, I'm old as fuck, so doing like Yahoo chat back in the day.
Yeah.
And it was like ASL, age, sex, location, right? And they'd be like, okay, well, what are your stats? And then the girl would tell you like, oh, I'm 5'4" and I'm 36, 24, 32, and you're like, oh, all right. So she's got a smaller waist and everything, and she's got like the hourglass figure. Should be okay. And then you keep talking, and you're like, well, what do you do? Are you athletic? This, that, and the other. And you kind of gauge like whether or not they're going to be attractive or not. Either way, I think for girls to lie about what they were presenting back then, because there's no way to put images out there, and so they kind of had to be a little bit more truthful. But then there was those times, just the same as now, you would show up and you're like, you are not what you described to me. And it was
I feel like back then it was easier to catfish because you didn't show pictures. You just had to go off what I told you. So I could be like,
you could be a dude living in a basement.
Yeah, I could be full on Nora Roberts and make it as erotic as hell. And then the next thing you know, you get out there ready to expect this supermodel, and then it's like you went from Pamela Anderson to what's the octopus lady off The Little Mermaid?
Ursula?
Yeah, Ursula. I'm just saying.
Yeah, don't ask me how I know that. I know a lot of weird fucking facts.
Everybody that's listening, it's called tentacle porn, and Dan is a fan.
I can neither confirm nor deny, but I do have a thing for Little Mermaid. I do like Ariel. She's hot. I like redheads. I haven't dated a redhead, but I do like the way they look.
Those redheads
They're crazy.
are crazy.
Yeah.
And they're dangerous.
They are. But, that's my thing. I like crazy girls for whatever reason. What is the craziest catfish story that you have beyond the one that, like, the Starbucks one? Do you have any where it like ended where it was like they stalked you or anything crazy like that?
So
Because I definitely have one.
I have one where I was staying at the campground.
Okay. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yep.
So I was staying at the campground, and I had slept with a girl. Was actually not. I mean, was a pretty woman, but so I won't say I got catfished, right? Definitely didn't get catfished. Very pretty woman. Lived about an hour and a half away. Drove to me because I drove to her for the first couple of dates, and everything went great. And then the next morning, without getting into too many details, like I honestly thought it was going to come to the point where I had to call the cops to make her leave. Like had already decided. I'm like, well, I got to go do this, this, and this. Oh, well, I'll just hang out here all day and wait on you. And I'm like, no, you will not hang out here. Like, I don't trust anybody in my place, that I don't know. That's not happening. So then it became like, well, I'll just hang here, and I'm like, no, that is not going to happen. You will leave. So fast forward probably a week, I leave and go out of town. I'm gone for 2 weeks, okay? Well, I had just cleaned everything. We're talking vacuum, laundry, the whole 9 yards. Well, one of my friends comes over, and she's cleaning up everything for me again, because every 2 weeks I'd have her come over and clean everything. And she finds this long red hair in my bed. And, like, I hadn't gotten home yet. Like, I was still out of town. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And my side of the bed was turned down.
What?
Yeah, my side of the bed was turned down. And there was this long red hair in the bed.
Oh, so she
on the pillow.
left it there as evidence, like, what the fuck is this?
So
or
that's the only redhead. That's the only redhead I had seen. Okay, in like over a decade.
Okay.
So the only thing we can figure is she broke into my camper and spent the night on my side of the bed at least once while I was gone. And that's where my side of the bed was turned down, and only my side of the bed with a few red hairs on my pillow.
Interesting.
And then there was some lipstick and a couple other things in the bathroom that were not there to begin with. And it's like they were staged so I would purposely notice that they were there.
So she intentionally tried to bait you into an argument?
I don't think she tried to bait. No, like this was a girl that I had not seen.
So what was her?
This is crazy girl I made leave.
Okay.
Crazy girl I made leave like 2 weeks prior. My friend who would come over and clean my camper every 2 weeks found all of these items while I was still out of town.
Okay.
So crazy girl had broke into my camper.
Right.
And strategically placed those things in the bathroom. I don't know what it was supposed to signify. Maybe like mementos that I would remember her and be like, oh my God, I need to call her. I love her kind of thing. Something.
Yeah, I don't know what her point of that all was. That's the point. That's what I'm trying to figure out is like, where was she going with this whole...
I have no idea because I never bothered to contact her. I threw it all away and acted like it never happened.
Yeah, that's weird. I think she's just crazy.
You think?
But it could just be my thought. For me, I went on a date with this. This was like high school, I think, and I went on a date with a chick. Yeah, you can have more. Go ahead, pour more. Yeah.
Do you want some?
I do want some. Yeah, you can pour me some too while you're at it. Fill me up, buttercup. God damn, son. A heavy pour, son, bitch.
I'm just
You're just happy to no, you gonna have to fill me up. Come on, son bitch. All right, that's good.
Hey, I wasn't worried about your pour. My pour's what matters.
Fill it on the table, you fucking fuck. That's
Hey,
a waste.
You pulled the glass away too fast.
Yeah. Anyway,
That's a bad pull out.
Yeah, premature ejaculation. So I went on this date with this girl.
God, that's so good.
In high school, and this was back before cell phones were a big thing, right? So
Right.
I didn't really like the girl, and my mom knew that I wasn't about this chick, and so when I was done with my date, I came home and I told my mom, I was like, "That's no, don't, that girl's a no," and she was like, "Okay." And next thing you know, the next day, the phone's ringing, and it's this girl's mom, and she asked to talk to my mom, and she's like, "Why does your son not like my daughter?" And I was like, "Well, he just doesn't. I don't know what to tell you." And she's like, "Well, she's really distraught, and I think it would benefit if your son would come over and just have a conversation with her, and And I'm like, "What?" I looked at my mom. My mom looks at me, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And she's like, "Yeah, that's not gonna happen. And I would appreciate if you stopped calling our house." But this girl, she kept calling for like a month, and I was just like, "Mom, what am I supposed to do about this?" Like, she's like, "I don't know. Maybe we could like threaten to have the cops come or something." And I was just like, "What in the ass?" But I showed up, and this girl, she just wasn't what she like presented herself to be. So it was like my first rendition of being catfished.
You realize that's your soulmate.
What? No. You're nuts. My soulmate is about 3 feet long, tan, drools, and lives in my house and eats 2 times a day.
He would eat more if you would let him.
He probably would.
Mm-hmm.
But Thor's just not allowed because he would be fucking morbidly obese and his belly would be on the ground. But anyway, the whole point is catfishing has been around a long ass time. I don't know why girls think that it's okay. And I don't know if guys do it as much, to be honest. I'm sure it happens, but I just feel like it's not as obvious. But maybe it is. Maybe girls can chime in and we can have another one of these episodes where we bring a girl in and she tells us her perspective on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it could possibly be a thing. I know girls complain about, they match with a dude and next thing you know they get a dick pic. And that's, they're like, "What the fuck? I don't even know you and you're sending me a picture of your cock." Like, nobody wants to see that. Like, no shit. Like, I'd be happy if a chick showed me her tits right away.
Right.
At least then like if they have a fupa or anything else below those things.
I saw this meme. Well, it depends on the angle of the picture.
That's true too.
Right? But I saw this meme where it said, or this GIF, and it's a woman. She's like, "You know what? All of us women need to band together and just immediately start sending guys on Tinder random beaver pics." I don't think it would go the same way.
Don't think guys would be upset. I just don't think it would be upset. Unless you got something weird going on down there.
Like roast beef?
No, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't bother me. But if you have something weird like, I don't know.
A blue waffle.
Yeah. The HPV or whatever, that one where it looks like you got like things growing, genital warts and all kinds of different weird shit. If it was like that, I'd be like, no, thank you. I think there's a website that you can date other people that have that problem.
You don't like cottage cheese?
I don't mind cottage cheese. I just don't want it in the regions that I'm.
Well, now every time you open
on
cottage cheese, you're going to envision that. You're welcome.
No, I won't. Because you could think of separating yogurt and it'll look like discharge, and you'll be like,
"Oh, like gonorrhea."
Yeah, exactly. You're fucking weird. Anyway, I think that, we've beaten a horse a lot on this one. But, do you have any other?
Catfishing is bad. Don't do it.
How do you think guys or girls could circumvent that? I have a solution for this.
So, my personal opinion is people need to stop being fake. Just be yourself and be genuine out the gate. And if people don't like you, people don't like you. We have this whole big thing of like, well, I have to ease into things. I have to feel people out to see if they like me or not. If they don't like you, piss off. Be yourself. Be genuine.
I think my solution is FaceTime them and make them fucking present themselves before you go on a date. Because if they do that and you make them like stand away from the camera or something, and you can actually get like a full on scan. First of all, if you're gonna FaceTime me, that one shows me that you are okay with what you presented to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of times I've asked these girls like, "Hey, why don't we FaceTime?" And they're like, "Oh, well, I don't have my makeup on." They have like every excuse under the sun, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "All right, well, that's fine. We'll just meet up and then we'll see what happens, right?" So I think if you were to persuade these people, guy or girl, to say, "Hey, we need a FaceTime before we meet," and if they say they don't want to, huge red flag, automatically don't fucking meet them. Because it could be a trap, It could be you're leading yourself into some sort of like sex ring or something, and you don't know about it. But I feel like you wouldn't be upset.
Don't lie. You would be all about it if you showed up and you were going to be chained down and used for like a sex
I
puppet.
beat you to it. I said I feel like you would be up to it. So
Yeah, but mine sounded better.
yeah, sure, whatever. I think that's a valid solution to avoiding a lot of the catfishing. It's probably something I'm going to start implementing from now on.
It is a valid solution, but I really truly believe people just need to be them fucking selves.
Well, yeah, I
Like,
agree with
no,
that.
like, be yourself. Don't be this person you think people need to see. If you can't be who you are 4 months into a relationship out the gate, then you're wasting my time and you're wasting your time.
Well, I think that goes to the honeymoon phase too, right? In dating, you have that like persona that people put on, and usually they can do that for about 90 days, and then after that, they resort back to their real selves.
That's what they say. Statistics says 4 months.
Right.
4 months and
Right.
a person shows their true self.
Yeah.
I was married for 8 years to somebody who who was able to hide her true self till I said I do. And then it became this crazy psychotic stuff, and we'll not go into that.
But that was only 2 weeks.
No, I wish. I wish, because then I would have never married her if she came out that quick. But what I'm getting at is 4 months is what statistics say before a person shows their true self.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm beyond that at this point. You are going to get me out the gate. Why can't other people do the same thing?
I think it has to do with them being comfortable with themselves. A lot of people have this inherent desire to be liked and to be loved and to be wanted, and they feel like they need to put on this persona that they know you would be drawn towards. Because like when you do the Q&A portion of dating, right, and you're just trying to feel each other out, I think once they get those answers, then they're like, okay, this is what I need to do to impress this person, and then they get them to want me beyond just my physical appearance, to think like we match and we're a good pair. I think that's the problem in today, and it might have been like a problem back to like 1500s. Who the fuck knows, right?
No, the 1500s. They just said, I want your daughter. I'll give you 12 cows.
Okay, that's probably valid. I don't know. I wasn't alive. It wasn't till like the 18th century that I came around, but that's fine.
So you post-date arranged marriages?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I wouldn't be opposed to mail order bride.
Ah.
Because at least you know what you're getting.
Until they get here and realize that America allows them to just be like, nah, bro, we're done.
Or they decide they want to just get their fucking citizenship and then dip
Exactly.
you. Yeah. I digress. But I do feel like if people would just, like you said, be genuine from the get-go, it would alleviate a lot of problems, because people would get together on the premise that whatever they were presented, this false image, is what they're getting involved with. And then months down the road, the truth comes out, and then both parties are embarrassed. And then it's like, what the fuck happened? Who the fuck are you? And where did so-and-so go that I met 4, 5, 6 months, years, how much time passes, and you're like, I was fucking catfished. I was duped.
Yeah.
Straight up.
100%. So you can be catfished not just on looks,
Right.
personality and everything.
Yeah, and that's the other thing people don't realize too, right? Is it's not just a looks thing. It's a emotional catfishing. There's a personality. There's the physical. You know, like, oh, I love sex a lot, and then next thing you know, they're like, nah, I'm really not that into it. You know, you're like, wait, what? So those first few months that we were just banging it out all the time, and were you faking that you like to get railed out all the time? Or
No, because at that point it's like, I got you. We're good.
But it's weird because like I've dated girls and they're like, oh, I love blowing you. And you're like, oh, really? Well, how come you haven't blown me in like 5 months? Oh, well, and you know they start coming up with excuses. Well, you know,
That's exactly why. It's because I
you're
got
like,
you, so why now?
right.
That's another problem
that's
with relationships is once the person has you or you have the person,
guys and girls are guilty.
they
of
don't
this.
want to eat. Neither one, guys or girls, neither want to seem to put in the time. Like, wait a minute, what is different now? What am I doing different now that I was doing a month ago,
Right.
2 months ago, 3 months ago? Oh, I was doing this.
Yeah.
Well, then why the hell can't you keep doing it? Most of the time, it's simple shit
Right.
that we're just ignoring and we're not doing because we've become complacent.
Yep. I agree.
And if one thing the military, and you can contest this too as a contractor, one thing the military life teaches you, don't be complacent.
Exactly. And I feel that it happens from both sides of the coin, guys, girls.
Yep.
Both of us get comfortable in a relationship. You become complacent, which is a normal thing in human nature. And you're like, why do I need to do that? Like, I've got you. And that's why people get, obese in their relationships because they're comfortable and they're like, oh, well, you're not going anywhere. And they have this they feel they have this level of security where they don't have to worry about impressing you anymore.
I don't know what they call them, but there's actually a name for them. So there are actual women out there. I call them bakers. Okay. But there are bakers, but there are actual women out there who, like, once they secure a man, because they can cook, will cook until the man is fat because then they know he's going nowhere.
Oh, okay.
And there's actually a term for that, and I forgot exactly what the real term is.
Oh, is it kind of like the same
for.
thing as when guys impregnate a girl and they're like, I locked you down, like you're stuck? Kind of
similar, but I forgot what the actual term is for them.
They're just
But
feeders.
there are women that literally cook and bake.
I'm a feeder.
To feed the man so that he gets fat, and then they've got him.
Well, that's weird. I don't understand the logic behind it. Because you and I are both pretty much even keel as far as when you go on the first date, what you see is what you get.
Yep.
And a lot of girls, they're turned off by it. That's great. I'm grateful that they are because it's like, good, I'm too much for you. I won't be too much for someone else.
Correct.
And
that's 100% how it should be. Like,
right.
If you cannot be you and genuine and they're not okay with that, well, piss off. I don't have time for you.
Right. Like, I'll show up wearing whatever the fuck I'm wearing from work, right? Like today I wore shirt, jeans, and fucking work boots. And I don't care. If a girl's not up for that and she wants this dude who's going to be primed, and fucking proper and everything else, I can do that in the right setting. But do I want to do that every single day of my life?
No. Like, I get if you actually have a planned dinner or something like that, right? You're obviously...
And I can bougie it up.
You're going to shower. You're going to put on cologne.
I shower every day.
You're going to trim the neck hairs. Yeah. You're going to do a little grooming, right? You're going to clean up. But ultimately, you're still going to be yourself personality-wise and how
generally,
you act, right? If you can't be, then it's already a red flag.
Right. I agree. And I think that's a thing that society needs to figure out real fucking quick because everyone's, oh, I'm so woke and this and that. It's like, if you're so woke, then why are you not accepting yourself? You want everyone else to accept you, but you can't accept yourself.
If you're woke, get a job.
I don't care about the job part, but I care about you being truthful and presenting who you are real time. So everybody knows what you are presenting is exactly who you are. And I know I get a lot of fucking grief at work because I am who I am even at work. And people are like, God, you're a dick. And I'm like, no, I'm not a dick. I'm just blunt and I'm honest. If being blunt and honest is being a dick, then sure, I'm a dick. But I'm just telling you the way it is. And a lot of these people, especially in the military, no offense, but today's military, they don't fucking want to hear the truth. They want to be fed fucking lies and fucking candy-coated bullshit.
You're not offending me because today's military is not my military. I'm on the tail end of it.
Right.
Okay.
And,
right.
And
oh,
you
like
were
here,
in
I'm
after
fat.
I came in.
Okay. I'm fat.
In today's standard,
But
yes.
I identify as slender, so I am trans slender.
Oh my God. We fucking segued way off topic on this. But I tell you what.
I feel like we came into some pretty good topics there.
We did cover a lot of good things. But it's truthful. You know, these people all over, they want to act so woke and they want all this inclusivity and everything else. It's like, great, okay, we can meet you in the middle and say, present me with your real image, and if I want to include you in my life, I will, and if I don't, I won't. And you need to accept that. You know, if you want a dude that's a 10, but you're a fucking 4 or a 5, set your standards to a realistic like expectations, because yeah, you might be able to obtain that. Even if it's a guy who's a 4 or 5 and he's trying to get a girl that's a 10, you might be able to get that. You either have a huge dick or a big wallet, or you're funny for the guy that's a 4 or a 5. And same for the girl. She's either got a huge bank account, or she's funny, charismatic, or whatever, you know, or she's got a great she gives great head. I don't know. But usually there's some fucking metric, right, that will tell you what is going on between the two. Maybe, I don't know, but
so
there has to be a solution.
I just want to say this, right?
Uh-huh.
So there was a study done, and I confirmed this before I said it. Right? Oh, yeah, I had to confirm because I knew this.
I can either confirm it or not, but right? I can
so
confirm this.
So this is confirmed, right? Fat men tend to last at least 7.3 minutes longer in bed.
Is that because it takes them that much longer to find their dick to get hard to get into it? Or
no,
they do a lot more foreplay?
No.
So what
as compared to the average man / skinny man during love making, so during the act of sex,
yeah,
the regular skinny men seem to last 1.8 minutes on average.
I think that has to deal with the fact that your testosterone levels are different. Usually the fatter guy has lower testosterone, so it's easier for a fatter guy with lower testosterone, which same thing with older guys, lower testosterone, to last longer, because there's a connection, and I'm sure we could Google that.
I just thought it was because of the belly you bounced and it did most of the work for you.
No, I would like to say that about girls with big butts then, because, you know, they're doing a lot of rebounding after you're pounding.
Oof, but it's the grip. If they do Kegels, oh my God.
Well, that's why I don't mind the girls that got the roast beef, because it grips it too. Grips it while you rip it. You know? It's like a well broken in baseball mitt. It just wraps around the ball really good.
It's like a boa constrictor for your penis.
Oh, God. Either way, we got to wrap this up.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
yes.
Definitely twice on Sunday. I'll tell you what, this was a really good episode. I think we had a lot of fun doing this one.
There will be many more like this from what I can tell.
There will be more like this. If you guys like what you heard today, please follow us on our Instagram page at www.instagram.com/bourbon sauced. And that's one word, bourbon sauced. Make sure you like, share, subscribe to our Spotify or Apple podcast channels. Share it with everybody and anybody. We're not discriminating. We just want to get it out there. Let your friends know that we're funny as fuck. If you don't think we're funny as fuck, well, that's your opinion. But until next time, cheers.